Hey, what is up guys? So I'm gonna be going over the code in this video like I promised in my previous video. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out, and it's about a advanced keypad lock based on Arduino. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so let's go over the code right now. So the first two lines of the code is basically including all the libraries you need in order to run the code. The first one you need it in order to make the LCD display work, and the second one is also for the same purpose. So if you're not using the LCD display, all you're gonna do is comment them so that you don't have to use them. But I am using the LCD display, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep the code. And this is specifying the address of your LCD. It's usually this address right here, but if it's not, I'll put a link in the description below where you can go find your liquid crystals address. So we need the address because we're using the I2C bus, and that's why we need the address. And here's all the initializing or declaring all the variables for our buttons. So we have the first password receiving buttons. Those are 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you don't know what a variable is, you might as well just leave now. And here's all the LEDs. So there are 3 LEDs. There's a correct pin, password pin, and wrong pin, and we have another 3 LEDs. So if you're using an RGB, just go ahead and use it. But if you're not, you might want to take out this and use 10 as your pin. So reset button state is low. So this code is also special in a way because I've debounced every single button. Here's all the initializing of the pins, setting it to input or output or whatever that is, and here's the serial port so that I can debug it for any thing that's not what I want. And also guys, debugging is a very good way to see if your code works, and I use it all the time, so I suggest you start getting into that too. And here, initializing the LED. This entire thing is initializing the LCD screen. So let's get started with the void loop. So here, as you can see, I've called to a class which is all the way down here. So this process is necessary because it's called the debouncing of a button. So let's say you press a button 10 times, and the 10th time you press the button, it might not even be recorded as a press because the currents may start varying and you might not get the right one you want. Okay, so that's why you need to debounce a button so that it sets it all straight, and that's also why we use a pull down resistor. And let's get back to where we're at, which is right here. Okay, so here we're reading the state of our first button. Let's say it goes from high to low. All it's gonna do is it's gonna set our new code pin to high because we're resetting the code. And if it's right, okay, so we get into this test state loop. So when we go through here, we have a order check. So this order is the order of our password. So value 1 equals 1, value 1 equals 2, value 1 equals 3, value 1 equals 4. So all we're doing is checking the order of our passes right here. So the default password is 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can change it if you want, and all you're doing is checking the order in which we're receiving them. So let's say the first button lights up and then it goes low again. Okay, so that is recorded as a press, and it checks in what order that comes in. So if you go and start pressing 1, 2, 3, and then you press the third button again, and it is recorded as a press, but the order is different. That's how it differentiates between one and another press. So if debounce button state equals high, so if the first button is high, we have to change the order. Now we check the password for the order, check 1, and now we're going to number 2. So now we're gonna check for that, and if that's the case, we're gonna actually go to code. So here's the one where it checks the values and our passes. If they are matched, we have our access granted, and the LED lights up, the green LED lights up. So all we're doing is as we press the button, we're changing the values of this variable, these variables right here, and then we're gonna go and check them with our passes. So that's how the initial part of the project works. So the second part is the reset button. So let's say we press the reset button. Let me just get to the reset button part. Yep, right here. So let's say we press the reset button. All it's gonna do is gonna change these 4 variables, the variables that we were talking about in the beginning. It's gonna change these 4 variables. So once it changes those 4 variables, it's pretty much the same process that like we looked at. So the reason that changing those variables are hard, because you don't want them to alternate or affect the value of other variables, and it's pretty hard doing that, and it's right here. So let's say you press the reset button, it goes there, and then it's gonna check if your original value is correct. So if you have the original code correct, if that's correct, it's gonna change the variables of the other 4, which is the value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, and pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, and pass 4. So it's gonna change all of that, and now it's just gonna finish the loop, and it's gonna go to the beginning, and now it's all the same thing. So that's it for this video, guys. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this, and I will see you in the next video, guys.